and bigger than me. And it's because of, my very public breakup from the kid's father, and just being an example to them and even to the world. The world was watching, and I had to, just keep it together, because now they are at the age where they can go on the internet and see everything. And one thing for sure, I didn't want them to see their mom acting a damn fool, And so one thing's for sure, when they ask questions, go ask your daddy, see what, 'cause I kept it together, but, so for sure, I get both parts of that, for sure.
Well, how did you get there? I mean, let's talk about these books. You've written multiple books. I mean, listen, my parents are older than you and me, but like, they're divorced and it took them forever to get to this point. You and Neo are in the public eye, like how did you get to this co-parenting and writing a book, keep it classy, and just, that's not easy.
Oh no, it wasn't easy at all, but I just honestly made the conscious choice of, being the bigger person at the time and not giving into my ego, because of course, I was humiliated. I was hurt in the beginning. And it was extremely hard. I didn't have the liberty of going through that hurt alone in my house, in the room, like the whole world. And they definitely had opinions and all this stuff. And then, he moved on, like it was a lot. But my focus were the kids, and keeping it respectful, even when it's hard. And it was important to share that with the world. And when I was on Atlanta Exes, I got so many like emails and so many DMs saying, oh my gosh, because of you and how you're carrying yourself, you made it possible. Like now, like I know one lady, she kept her children away from the children's father for like 6 years. And because of me and her watching how I, didn't do that, she allowed her children's father to be back in their lives. And I'm like, 6 years, I had this impact, little old me, because of that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is it. I need to be more vulnerable, more open, and share with more families. And we could, change. But I was like, if I can change one person's heart and bring their families together and help them blend better, I've done my job, And so that's what opened me up to write the books and be a help, and even start speaking to people, even coaching sometimes. Like, and it's been such a blessing, honestly. So that horrible time in my life turned into, blessing others. And that was amazing.
And did that help you get through the horrible time, like of like writing these books and public speaking and just kind of making this one of your things? Like, just that really helped with the healing process?
It really did, because I started off with journaling and writing it down, and then that turned into the book. So absolutely, it was like my therapy. Before I had my therapist, it was my therapy. And talking to my dad. And like you said, my parents, my mother, unfortunately, she passed. Oh wow, last month, and they would have been married for 50 years in February. So, and that was all that I know, all that I knew. So to have that and then have this in front of the whole world, I'm like, okay, so what are you gonna do, girl? And so that was another big reason why I, reacted how I did, moved how I moved, and just wanted to definitely be a better person and example for my children, for sure.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your mother.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
How do you handle, like you say, like the public eye, like was there a period where like your children would like go on the internet? I mean, now, especially like when they're getting older, and just read things about, like you and Neo, and, there's a lot of stuff out there. Like I'm not a parent. I know that I don't have that gene, but I can imagine that that's a hard part of it, like to have to also do this in the public eye.
No, of course it is. And I try to monitor their screen time, which is super important. But of course you can't monitor everything, and so much that's out there. So I do a good job at that, and so far it's been good. I had a little scare not too long ago about what was put out there about their dad and his relationship and everything. So we just got together on the phone. I was like, hey, first of all, are you good? Is everything good? And then I talked to his wife, whatever they have going on right now. And I'm just like, listen, the kids are of age. So can we like bring this in? Not trying to tell you how to handle your business, but we got to think about these kids and figure it out. But we're going to have to answer some questions, and it's not my place. So he got right on it, and the next weekend I think he was with them, so it was definitely a conversation for in person. He got with them and told them what was going on, so they didn't have to learn it from somewhere else. And I talked about moving to the outskirts. Unfortunately they weren't fortunately, it turned out fortunately, the school that they've been in, a private school, they are at a different school now, so no one knows who they are. And so, because if they were at their old school in that little week grace period when everything was going down, they wouldn't have had that, you know, and their friends would have definitely walked, your dad's getting a divorce, this is going on, you know, and I'm like, oh God. So it kind of gave me, I'm like, okay, this is good. No one knows. So no one is going to tell them, you know, the kids are not going to tell my kids, you know, what's going on with their father right now. So that was like a saving grace at that point, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Because it did make the headlines, like the divorce. And I mean, I'm not getting, you know,
it was
she's
everywhere.
claiming adultery in another child, and I don't even,
yeah.
But and so if they were in that other school, their friends would have said, this is going on with your father.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. No doubt.
And now they heard it from him first. And
exactly. Yeah. So that's good. I'm like, okay, good. I'm almost sweating, like, okay, girl, what are you going to do? Like, I had to go Olivia Pope in our own life, you know, and figure this out. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to tell them, but it's going to get to a point where I'm going to have to tell them, like, when are you coming in town? When are you here, sir? You know, I don't want to FaceTime this. This is in-person conversation, serious, you know.
That's got to be hard because, like, right, like, you don't want to overstep, like, it's his divorce or whatever.
Exactly. It's not my place. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely very hard. It was very hard. Yeah, for sure.
Where are you? So you guys have a good relationship now, and just everything is.
Yeah, we do. Like I said, nothing's perfect all the time, but yeah, we do have a good relationship. My husband and him, they actually went out to eat the other day. Like, they have this great, you know, bromance, I like to say, and it's awesome. You know, it helps. You know, so yeah. We're all just one big happy family. Well, we can be. When not, I get on the group chat, like, let's get this together because this ain't gonna get it, you know. So
And by the way, you can make an Olivia Pope, Shonda Rhimes scandal reference any day you want here.
Yes, right? What?
One of probably the best show that's ever existed in the history of television.
Like, come on, listen, ever. I was tuned in all the time, honey. I'm like, can we bring it back, please?
Do you know that I haven't even watched the final episode yet because I can't. I can't. I watched everything up to the. I can't accept it, and I don't want to know.
What?
In my mind, it's coming back next year. Shonda's working on something. Kerry Washington's being summoned from somewhere. It's not over. It's not over.
I love that wishful thinking. But honey, you might want to watch it though. You might want to watch it.
And I haven't heard. I've blocked everything. I know. I'm going to get around to it.
One day I will. Right?
One day. Before we move on from this topic, does Neo watch Real Housewives of Atlanta? Does he know you're on this? Like, is he going to tune in this season now?
Honestly, Neo has too much going on to even worry about us over here. But he knows that I'm on, and he's been super supportive. So, you know, if this thing goes on, you might see him on here next season. So come on, 15. You know, and it could get interesting. So.
You think he would actually do that? Like, if you were becoming like a full-time cast member, you think he would make an appearance?
I know he would. He's super supportive. Like, honestly, they all are. They really, like, his mom, like, family, yeah, everybody's super supportive. So if that's in the cards, he'll definitely be on. Not all the time, but, you know, like, we do co-parent, and it's important to show, you know, my life. This is what I'm doing. And he's a part of it. So yeah, I'm sure he would.
Hello, Bravo. Like, give her a peach. Neo, Monyetta. Blended family, come on.
Let's do this with Gigi, my little baby, other baby. So yeah.
How has your experience been with Sheree? I mean, Sheree, the bone collector, is back this season. Like, what do you think? You know, to me, it was such a painful scene.